Hi there guys, and welcome back to Naturally Rawsome. I'm Eva, and today I want to show you how you can easily grow your own microgreens and things like wheatgrass at home with very simple and cheap tools. So first of all, what kind of container do you need? You can use literally everything. I mean, you can use a cup, or if you, that's what I do, ever buy some packed up lettuce in the store and you get these plastic containers, what I do is I cut off the top of them. So basically I go like this to make them a little bit smaller, as our sprouts really don't grow that high and it would be hard to cut them off if they're really high. In a high container, I mean. So this goes into the trash, and that's what I use. And I already have quite a few of them. And yeah, if you grow things like wheatgrass or barley grass, some kind of bigger seeds, then it's always good to soak the seeds overnight in water. And yeah, that's speeding up the sprouting process and brings out all of the sprouts. So what I do is I fill a little bit of that into a jar, just a handful, and then I fill it up with water. Now I let that soak overnight, and tomorrow I will do what I'm gonna do now with the smaller seeds, and I'm gonna show you how I do things. So first of all, I'm adding a little bit of water into these containers. It's a trick that I learned from a professional grower, microgreen grower, or gardener. If you add in the water into the container first, then it prevents the seeds from clotting together. Let's say if you add the soil and then top it with the seeds and then you add the water on top, then everything floats together and there are little lumps and everything kind of lumps together. And that way the soil is already moist and you only need to spray a little bit of water on top to wetten the seeds. So yeah, I will add a little bit of water into each of these buckets. That was a little too much. And then I have a small bag of soil over here. This is the organic one. It's even vegan. So yeah, great for growing any kind of eatable stuff, herbs and veggies. And you really don't need a lot of soil because the sprouts don't need a lot. Just a little to give them some kind of ground. And I mean, some seeds like wheatgrass, you could even grow it without soil, I think. And you just need some kind of a paper to put underneath it, so you can always moisten it and the moisture keeps in there, or there's something to soak up the moisture when you wetten it. So that's how it looks like when the soil is in. You see that it's really not that much. And now to speed up the process, I'll show you what I do with this one before I finish the rest of these. I'm having some different seeds here. I'm having arugula, bread clover. Then I'm also gonna plant some basil. I also have alfalfa and most nutrient dense ones, broccoli sprouts and some radishes sprouts. So I'll start with the broccoli one. And I just go like this and spread out a little bit of the seeds. Oops. Into this one. So it looks like this. And you see the seeds are evenly spread and yeah, ready to start growing. Now as a final touch, I'll add some water on top just to moisten the seeds. And then what I will do if I have finished all of these, the other containers, is I will put this one on top of this one. So it's dark and the seeds have a moist surrounding to start growing. And once the little sprouts come out, like little hairs coming out, then I will remove the top and will give them some light to speed up the to speed up the growing process and make them grow. And if your sprouts ever turn too yellow, then you know that they didn't get enough light. It's not a sign of bad sprouts or that something is wrong. It's just that they didn't get enough light. And all you gotta do is bring in more light. So let's finish this and then we'll come back and I'll show you the next steps. So now I've finished all of the sprouting trays. And some basil. And we'll put them all together. And I have one left over for the top. So let's start putting things up. Voila. And one more for the top. It's a little bit bigger, but it's moving. So now I'll set this aside for 1 to 2 days and check into them, how they grow and how they look. I don't think they need more moisture. I think I just added enough. And once they come up, I'll put all of these separately so they can start growing. And I'll check back with you. Oh yeah, and I got organic seeds just because I want them to be super clean and healthy. And yeah, chemical free. So yeah, I prefer organic and also went for the organic soil to keep everything pesticide and chemical free to have the best quality possible. So this is day 2 of the sprouting process. This one was not covered that well, so the broccoli sprouts didn't grow that fast, but you will see that the other sprouts are already coming up. This is basil. It's already, no, it's not so far yet, but here we have the radishes, greens, sprouts. there we have, hard to tell, I think it was red clover. No, this was red clover and this one was arugula. And they are yellow because they are lacking daylight, but they will get green when I uncover them. And here we have the wheat kamut seeds that I seeded one day after they have been soaked, and they're already coming up. So this one I will say I will already uncover and let them get some light to grow faster. And you see the white kind of coating in there. This is not mold, this is just a natural process. You can see it over here, that it's kind of small little hairs coming out, and it's natural. Mold looks different. So it's day 5 of growing the sprouts, and you can see that they are sprouting super well, especially the wheatgrass, kamut grass. And yeah, the one thing that I want to mention with the grass is that you can cut it off now like this and this height and use the top part and keep it growing, and it will regrow and you can harvest it again. That's a cool thing about wheatgrass. All of the other sprouts you harvest and then they're well used up and won't regrow. But yeah, we have here the red clover, which is pretty much ready to harvest. Then we have the radishes sprouts. Then something that always grows very closely together is the arugula. It's very dense. And you gotta always take care that there are no moldy parts inside, as these are growing together pretty tightly. And one tip to prevent mold from building up is to water your sprouts from the bottom. Meaning when you water them, you just grab them like this and pull them up. And then you put the water in here and bring this back down. So that way you water the roots and not the soil from the top. And it prevents mold. And if you ever get moldy spots, something that helps to get rid of it or to treat it is grapefruit seed extract that you can put on top. It's a natural anti-mold remedy. Just make sure it doesn't contain citric acid. And you can also see, I'll show you in here, that's not mold, it's just a natural kind of fluffy part that's in the sprouts. Don't know if you can see that. It can seem like mold, but it's not mold, only when it's turning kind of bluish and yeah, really fluffy and more like a spot without the hairs. And the only thing that didn't grow that well was the basil. So I still give it some time, Probably takes a few more days. But broccoli sprouts are also always pretty easy to grow. And they're almost ready to harvest, I'd say. I'd give them a few more, well, I'd say 1 day or so. And that's all it takes, I would say. And then we can just cut them off. And the good thing is, if you have it in here and you want to harvest it, I mean, over here it's pretty easy to harvest it as it's growing out of the box. And you can just cut it off with a scissor. And with these, if you don't want to cut like into this box and yeah, having the plastic in the way, you can just grab all of that, set it outside, and then cut along whatever you need and put the rest back into the box. And that's how it also works if you didn't have any plastic containers or yeah, flat things to grow your sprouts in, and used maybe a cup or something higher to grow your sprouts in. And yeah, I hope these tips help you to make your own kitchen garden and have some vitamin B12 and living elevated biotics, as these sprouts contain elevated biotics, and elevated biotics create or help to create B12 in your gut. So you have natural B12, homegrown and free from pesticides and whatever is out there roaming around. Yeah, I hope these tips help you to grow your own sprouts in the kitchen and get more nutrients into you. And yeah, if you found this video to be helpful and good, then give it a thumbs up. And remember, keep it light and simple. And as always, naturally, Rawsome. Bye. Happy sprouting.